Evening, you wrongin'. Just getting me. Oh, hang on. Yeah, just get myself in place. And I had a slight technical issue. Okay, oh, that one. And I have no idea why. So, just sorting it out. See if it works again. I doubt it though. Anyway. Oh, for fuck's sake. Evening. Not really sure how to start this tonight. Not on my usual form. Everything is rush. What's that? What's that? Wow. No, I've just found notes from something else that I didn't even. Oh, this is really bizarre. From the other day. So let's get into it, so to speak, as all good YouTube creators say. Wow, I've forgotten all about these. Rebuilding Ukraine, Donald Trump, knife crime, Justin Welby, Mike Tyson, democracy. Oh, I say, notes that I should have made videos with. Welcome to the Church of What's Happening, baby. These don't stay on for long, only whilst I read your comments, and let me just do this. You can tell I'm all of a fluster, can't you? Right, thank you very much. We're going to do things that make you go, tonight. We have lots to talk about. I've got a few questions I want to ask you. Just want to see where you are with where you're at with certain things. And just the usual malarkey. So make sure you're in a pew, you're wrongin'. Make sure that, do you know, I've said this to you before. I said it at the beginning of the channel that wrongin' was an epithet that I used to use on air 20 years ago. And I have proof of that in my Top Man Tapes CD because it's printed in there and I use it verbally on air. And it's so funny seeing some of these seemingly talented YouTuber creators using it. Funny as. The other thing is, there was kind of a video, you know, when you watch some stuff and it went to play onto something, and I was fully expecting a YouTube creator to go, Foxtrot Oscar, because they're talentless cretins. They wouldn't know what to do if they had to do this 2 or 3 hours live, 5 days a week. They literally would shit their inept pants, so to speak. Evening, Scotty. One of the other talented broadcasters. They used to do it every day, Monday to Friday, and then maybe a 6th time on a weekend. How many subscribers you got now, Scotty? You've been buying them. You're wrongin'. I think you might have been. You've been demonetized as well. Scotty, you tart. Good to see you, though. Andrew James says, I know I'm early rev. I want first dibs on the lost property basket. Hang on, Andrew. What's going on in the lost property basket? Paulie Gallieri says, good evening, Adrian. Yeah, utter wrongin'. I hope you've had a restful weekend. No. I've seen the weeds on my allotment. I'm not going to get a restful week either. In the snow. Rich says, just popping my head around the church doors early. Thank you, Rich. I see the cleaners have been in and had a good tidy up. I've given it a damn good polish. So I'm told. And the church and the pews. See you at 8 p.m. for the Simon Rev. Thank you. Do you know this little emoji where it's got 2 hands like that and it looks like you're praying? You do realise that's a high five. Well, Rich probably knows, but most of the people, they get this this little thing, and it's like 2 little blue collars, couple of white hands. You can change the colour of the skin, seemingly. The wokeness of it all, and everybody thinks that it's a prayer. So you're praying. Not in this bloody church, you're not. Anyway, it's a high five. Unless I've been fed duff information. Cuban Pete says, evening Cuban Pete, just in case. Absolutely gutted about the Tyson fight. What a waste of time staying up. Won't fall for another Paul fight again, that's for sure. I'm with you, Cuban Pete. We are going to talk about it this evening. Obs, because it was rigged. Did I say that out loud? It was rigged. It was rigged. Like WWE's rigged. I mean, Logan Paul was there. We'll talk about that later. What an utter crap show it was. I stayed up all night, watched all of the card, as much as it was making me fall asleep. In fact, the girls on the card were more brutal than the bloody men. Girls. Andrew, again, in the name of Jesus, Jones. How can 350 million not be sustainable for taxpayers to subsidise buses, but 248 million a month is for the boaty people? Bus fares were shit expensive before the £2 cap. I know, don't worry, politics is rigged. Life's all rigged. It's perception versus reality, Andrew. And the perception is that, politicians would lead us and the politicians would do their best by us and do the best for the community. Will they bollocks? It's, the people who come across in the dinghies. Oh, by the way, the Labour government, they're smashing the dinghies because they found them and deflated them by telling them they were ugly. It's an old gag. And so, hang on a second. If the Labour Party, the politicians, the government, Westminster, if they could find some of the dinghies that they've come across on, why can't they find the gangs then? Or how much money are the politicians accepting as backhanders to get the boat people over here? Let's see where George Soros lives, shall we? Him and fucking Taylor Swift. Sorry, did that come out loud? Stuart, evening. Oh, let's go. Oh, let's reverse. Oh, fuck. Do you mind if I just swear lots tonight? Fuck. Because I'm just, pissed off with life. Evening, Rev. The tasks are done, and I've had a request from the choir boys that you would like your hibiscus. What can I say? Your hibiscus. It's in a different mug tonight, by the way. Thank you to the new Mrs. Allen who's creeping about. Stuart says, hibiscus, all I can say is I'm happy as long as the Rev pays me with beer and extra Battenberg. You tart. There's no such thing as free Battenberg. What can I say? Have you seen the price in Tesco's? Alan says, evening, old man. No, sorry, evening, Rev, old man. Probably the same thing, to be fair. Tyson needed Battenberg power. He needed something up his arse, that's for sure. Mind you, he flashed it long enough. Got up especially to watch half a fight, 8-time, 2-minute rounds. Glad I didn't put my shirt on. What a swizz. I'm with you. I am completely with you. As I say, we are going to talk about it. I'm not going to pull me punches. See what I did there? Pun intended. I'm not going to pull me punches tonight because it was shite. But I will say this. I've had a bit of a revelation because I did on a live a couple of weeks ago. I did tell you. When we get round to it, I'll tell you about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're sitting comfortably, if you're not in the pews, and some fat ass ne'er-do-well is hogging 2 seats, probably their piles. But tell them, oi, wrongin', shift. Otherwise, we'll set the Reverend on you. Mind you, I'd boxed better than those 2 prats last night. Jesus. So, ladies and gentlemen, congregation of the church, welcome to the Holy Battenberg and the holy space that is the Church of the Battenbergers of a Sunday evening, 8 o'clock, as always, and the next live is going to be Wednesday, of course. In the beginning, there was a sermon so powerful, no one understood it. I've been battling on for 2 years, you're wrongin'. I mean, do you want to know how many hundreds of hours I've done with these lives? And these sermons that I just drip feed you bits and pieces. Some of you are very clever, very, very clever, highly intelligent, and come here for your fix every 3 or 4 days. And you know what the deal is. You know. There's no flies on you, unless you've had Battenberg, of course. So let me just say, the theatre of the mind's first sermon was always about integrity, honesty, and trust. You can go look at it. You can go watch it. First sermon was all about bringing back integrity, honesty, and trust. And what did the Americans do? They want to bring back integrity, honesty, and trust. And what have we got? Liars. Liars. They've got liars. I would call them wrong-uns, but they're politicians, so they're probably accepting backhanders. Used to be brown envelopes, but this backhander's probably bent over a desk. Who could I be talking about? I've no idea, unless you've got a free key to number 10 Downing Street. Free key? Free keyer. So we shall continue to cut through the fog of war, because it is a war against the political classes. Because they're all caring, understanding 90s type. They're all drunk on power. What do they say? It's the old saying, power corrupts. But absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I'm going to make a prediction for you. Not that I'm psychic, because if I was psychic, I'd win the bloody lottery every weekend. Going to make a prediction. The Conservatives are dead in the water. Labour is even more dead in the water. If you think they've got a large majority now, size queen, let me just tell you, if what I think's coming out, not out, Starmer's politically over, done, finished, kabut. And the Labour Party, that's why they were sitting there with faces like smacked asses at PMQs on Wednesday. Remember what I told you on Wednesday? Oh, I say, Sir Keir Starmer mentioned Southport. And I asked you a question. Why would he do that at PMQs? And I told you further later in the live that that's how politics works. You make sure that you're putting shit ton of money into certain constituencies so that the constituents will vote for you and vote for you next time. That's why Prime Minister's constituencies were always really good, had large majorities. Oh, Gary Chabot was late. He's having family dinner with the family. Nearly had family with his dinner. Oh, I say, bit of a Freudian. And evening, Gary. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. And I did say to you, why has he mentioned it when nobody's mentioned it? I mean, it's a bit odd. The MP for Southport stood up in the body of I nearly said in the body of the Kirk, stood up in Westminster and can you not remember me telling you on Wednesday? Why did that happen? What was going on? Who was being bought off? Well, I never. Alan says Lindsay Hoyle told them all to shut the fuck up about Southport. I know he did. Do you know why he did that the week before? Because Richard Tice was going to stand up in the House and ask. And they were told, no parliamentary privilege. That's what they were told, no parliamentary privilege. I wonder why that is. It's a bit odd, do you not think? Do not speculate in the chat either. Because I know what's going on. What do you mean? Well, you can say that, but I can't possibly comment. Terry, nailed. Thank you for not naming any names. All I can say is, like I say, you're all sharp as a very sharp knife. We all know what's going on. And, well, that's why I say it's not really going to end very well, is it? Alan Little says, yes, the rumours are flying. I know they are. Kathy Harper says, have the Southport victims' parents been silenced? Why are they not shouting from the top of the rooftops? I know. I don't fancy spending Christmas in the slammer. Me neither, Alan. So everybody, please be gentle tonight. Because, well, shall we just agree that this is not going to end very well at all? But I'll tell you what is. I mean, this is at the beginning of the live. I haven't even got to say hello and got your feet under the table and welcome you to the body of the Kirk. We're straight in tonight. I will do that in a second, though. But this is what I will tell you. Everybody has forgotten. Remember, politics is all about diversions. It's all about this concentration being diverted to the Mike Tyson debacle, the rigged Mike Tyson fight. Or it might be, oh, the royal family. Do you know some of the royal family have got cancer? Oh, the Queen's not very well. Sorry, the Queen Consort. It's all diversion. We know what's going on. We know what's going on with the royal family. We've been told every bloody day since January. We know what's going on with the Queen. Well, we don't actually, because, well, the Queen is stiffing in a box in Windsor Chapel. The Queen Consort, we have no clue, because they could just be making it up. No, surely not. The press making shit up every fucking day. So, what was I going to say? So we know. So the reason why I mentioned Richard Tice was because Richard Tice was going to ask a question in the Houses of Parliament at PMQs and had a phone call, seemingly, from what I've heard, and he was told, shut the fuck up. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to be sweary Mary. If you don't like swear words tonight, then please just switch it off. Honestly, it's coming out live and real. I'm not mucking about tonight. So he was told, no, you can't. And then Sir Lindsay Hoyle stood up and went, no parliamentary privilege. You can't say that. Wasn't allowed. Lottie, where you been, man? It's 1:15. We're right in here. You're missing all the best bits. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, Lottie. And it's all about, so for example, we are going to talk about the Tyson fight. We're going to talk about lots of things. But I'm going to talk about how they distract you tonight. I'm going to give you example after example after example. We're going to do a deep dive into stuff. But I'm sorry, the country. So on Friday, all the wefties, the namby-pamby pinko liberals went, oh, I'm not staying on Twitter. I don't care what it's called. I'm not staying here. It's full of right-wing arseholes. And I thought, hang on a second. I'm not right-wing. I'm common sense, me. I'm straight down the bloody middle. I'm not going to be labelled left or right or up or down or in or out. Well, I prefer a bit of in and out rather than left or right. But at my age, they all had this hissy fit. And some of them were like, I'm closing down my account. Brilliant. In 30 days, you can nick their account name off them. Brilliant. And they've gone to this thing called Blue Sky. Alan says, Twitter's great at the moment. All the libbies are offended, bless him. All the namby-pamby pinko liberals. Tracy, the celibate sinner, you're late. You've missed the best bits. The dangerous bits, anyway. So they've gone over to Blue Sky. So all I did was I nipped over there so nobody could get at Adrian Allen. I've got it now. Well, I'm not going to post on there, I don't think. But at this rate, I'm going to have like 20 million, 1,000 trillion, hundreds of social media accounts. What the bloody hell do I want those for? Oh, I'm here and I'm there. I'm every fucking where. Sorry, that was a football chant back in the day. So, dearly beloved, never heard of Blue Sky. Don't want no Fred Barker. It's shite. The Rev is like he's like the farmer's gate. He swings both ways. Who said that? Cheeky get. Do I? No, the Reverend is like a swinging gate. I bang during a storm. Nothing better. That's my exes. So, let's welcome you to the body of the Kirk. Blue Sky is going to be another echo chamber. I agree with you, Andrew. So all that'll happen is, remember when Elon Musk bought Twitter and they went, oh, he's bought Twitter for 44 billion. Look, if Elon Musk hadn't bought Twitter for 44 billion and everybody was taking the mickey out of him, Can you imagine where we'd be now? Can you imagine who's eating all the pies? Des Ashton, what are you saying? You're wrong. Wouldn't it be funny if Musk bought Blue Sky and open it up, same as Twitter? Oh, it'd be wonderful. Wonderful. Hang on, Holly. So, what do I want to do? Listen, I started this live tonight, and I was all over the place. And now you're just encouraging me to be naughty. 44 flipping billion, Amalia Grassi. What, the actual? Yeah, I know. Nothing like a bit of wind to get things moving. Thank you, Tom. No, I've got 100 million mucky gags in there. I can't. Honestly, if I actually said on these lives what goes around in my head, I'd be in jail. And that's not wishful thinking either. Right, let's get in. Because it's all live. Karen Boo UK. Hello, all you wrong'uns. Hope everyone is well. We are now that we're hearing the good rumours. The all-Bovril Starmer must resign. For some of us now, know your direct links, and eventually the public will find out. Does the 19th of April 2003 ring a bell? I bet it does. Should we ask the Rwandan government? Hang on a second, what do you mean? Adrian, what? Are you having a fever dream? I'd rather have fever tree with a little gin in it. Are you having a fever dream? What's going on this evening? Reverend, you're very irreverent. Blue Sky is owned by Jack Dorsey, the former chief executive of Twitter. Yeah, Tracy the celibate said, thank you, Tracy. That's Jack Dorsey, the one that kept all the things hidden and was told, no wonder the Rwandan plan never took off. You can say that, Des, but I can't possibly comment. But Jack Dorsey, yeah, so he must have had some kind of something in place to say, right, I'll buy it off you for 44 bill, and you can't go and open anything that's against us. But I mean, it was like Faceache. So Faceache was, and I believe it to be evil. I literally, I don't post on there anymore. I don't post anything whatsoever. Where's the wrong and mug this evening? Don't, Stuart, don't. It's the new Mrs. Allen. It's like, it's divorce, honestly. In fact, hang on a second. I'm going to show you. It's because I keep it about my person. It's gotten out in it. So we've had to go to Plan B tonight. I do apologise to the new Mrs. Allen, but I've gone to Plan B. This is I bought this when I went to see that magnificent erection at Westminster. So that's my second favourite mug, my third favourite mug. I'm not even going to show you. A bit like Mike Tyson's arse. So what was I saying? Yeah. Let's get into... So Karen Boo welcomes everyone to the body of the Kirk. Thank you, Karen. And the All Bovril. Yeah. I wonder why we were... Or thinking about... Isn't there an irony in there? That we were going to send the illegal immigrants to Rwanda. I mean, if you look at people like, why would I pick these out randomly? The All Bovril. I wonder if... Alexa! Oi, Tart! Alexa! Do you know the truth about Sir Keir Starmer?
Here is what I found. Truth or verity is the property of being in accord with fact or reality. In everyday language, it is typically ascribed to things that aim to represent reality or otherwise correspond to it, such as beliefs, propositions, and declarative sentences.
Did you take a breath? Alexa, is Google AI shite?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I bet you bloody don't. So, what do you know about Sir Keir Starmer? Alexa, don't go quiet on me.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Hang on, Alan. You don't know what I'm going to say yet. Alexa, what do you know about Sir Keir Starmer?
Sir Keir Rodney Starmer is a British politician who has served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom since 2024 and as leader of the Labour Party since 2020.
Did you know that he was called Rodney? Rodders for short. Can you imagine? Oi, Rodney! Can you imagine? I think they should use that as PMQs. Oi, Rodney, mate. Alexa's been silent. Plonker, plonker, plonker.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Well, Foxtrot Oscar then. Ask Alexa what's the best way to eat a popsicle. Alexa, what's the best way to eat a popsicle?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, you can eat a popsicle by holding onto the stick and placing the top portion in the mouth. It can be consumed by licking, sucking, or chewing. On hot days, it is best to use a napkin on the stick to keep your hands clean.
I'm traumatized. Starmer, the utter plonker, absolutely. I haven't even got. There's so many. Do you know? When I finish this these lives, I can see how many comments there's been, and now YouTube is taken to lying to me. It's. I know how many comments there are. There's bloody hundreds, and they sort of make it smaller, so to speak. Oh, just show me Meghan Markle. It's enough to make it wither. Apparently, the rumours are Keir Starmer's dad wasn't a toolmaker. No, he did that himself. Trigger's broom will be twitching a bit, says Alan. And Tracy, I see a Rodney meme trending on X tomorrow. Oh, I say, no one knows because they don't tell us that he's actually Keir Rodney Starmer. KRS. Hang on, wasn't that a dance band? That was... Please Don't Go. KRS, Please Don't Go. 1992, 93. That's a bit anarchy. Anyway. So let's have a couple more. Tom Harney's, hi Rev. How very lovely that England got the game done nice and early tonight. I reckon they had it all. They got it ready for... What was the score? I was too busy doing all the prep and listening to the rain. What was the score? Not JLS, KRS. Ask Alexa what's coffee beans 100 in Welsh. Fuck you, yeah. Did I say that out loud? KLF, yeah. What the fuck? Rich, KWS. No, it was a KWS, not KRS. KRS-One, rapper. I mean, KRS was cool in the 80s. KRS-One. Chris, for short. Getting chilly, innit? Yes, Amalia, I agree. I might have to wear my skiing thermals. 5-0 to England. Behave. How many did Harry Kane get? None. Yeah, somebody just mentioned that there's 200 people watching and only 56 likes. So as you wipe your feet on the way into the body of the Kirk, if you wouldn't mind just smashing the likes, smashing the likes, because I have put a lot of effort into this evening. Thank you, Fred. I liked when I tuned in. So, couple more. Viv Kenyon, Sunday sermon soon with our ranting Rev. Pews waiting to be filled. Don't be late. Wine and Battenberg at the front. Fill your boots. Viv and Darlow, I wouldn't put it in your boots, Viv. Have you seen the mess it would make? 4 degrees here. It says top of 69. Feckin' Baltic. Keir was the tool his dad made. Thank you, Gail. I know. Let's just go to the bottom of the comments because there's so many of them that I'm never going to get down. Nicholas says, how appropriate. KRS-One, Sound of the Police. You remember KRS-One? I used to play them on the radio. Back in the day when we had to bleep all the sweary words out. And it was off vinyl. So we had to have like radio versions back in the day that, because rap didn't. I mean, we couldn't. Can you imagine? Hang on a second. Who did I see? Was it Sir Keir Starmer? Now this is, I'm digging right back here. Was it Sir Keir Starmer that used to defend or go with Mary Whitehouse? Remember Mary Whitehouse? To defend her in court. Was it Mary Whitehouse? Terry Wookfit, Kane, Penn, 53. Well, it had to be, didn't it? Jesus. Couldn't score, couldn't hit the cow's arse with a banjo, that boy. Do you know? So he got one, bless him. So all he's interested in is taking all the penalties and then getting to the greatest England goal scorer. Don't think he is, to be fair. Jimmy Greaves was better. Jimmy Greaves was a shit ton better than Harry Kane by a country mile. And Wayne Rooney. Whoa! Terry Wookfit, Harry Kane, 53. Penn. Anthony Gordon, 55. Wonderful. Gallagher, 58. Jay Bowen, 75. Harwood Bellis, 79. So they've kind of capitulated. The Irish, they've probably gone out for a beer now, knowing the Irish the way I do. Napoleon blown apart, things that make you go, why is the third hand on a watch called the second hand? It's like bedtime in Michael Jackson's house. How do you know when it's bedtime in Michael Jackson's house? Big hand touches the little hand. Amalia sorry, Amalia, my brain's not working. Mary Whitehouse, wasn't she all the censorship in the 70s? Wouldn't Keir have been around for? Oh, who was it then? Who was it? I remember seeing the kind of reportage in the paper, and it literally took my breath away. I'm going to have to look for it again. But the way, I won't go into my techniques, but the way that I kind of review the papers, I get in, get my nose in, give it a sniff, see what's going on, see what I can find. And more often than not, it's just all bollocks. Literally. The newspapers nowadays, it used to be 50 or 60, 65 pages. Now you're lucky if you're getting 35 pages in the Super Soaraway. We almost got the Euro footy, nearly in the final this year. So close, if only, says Lottie. Why have we got another tournament for our... right, Irish were playing with 10 men after 52 minutes. Liam Scales earning a second yellow and an early bath, bless him. Lord Longford and Dirty Mac. Oh, yeah, well, it came out. Not out, but out about Lord Longford afterwards. It always does with these people. Terry Wookford says, Irish, got that. Des Ashton, Lord Longford and Dirty Mac, thank you, Des. Ray Norton, Alan Keir, according to my sources, means... Well, you see, the word queer actually means something completely different to me. It means that it's a bit odd. And like gay means happy. Mind you, I was going to mention this. I haven't even got anywhere near the comments. I in my early days, Bovril, Rolex, Pennine Counties, what on earth are you saying? Up the Marmite motorway, Starmer is very odd, in an odd way. I'm not sure Lord Ali would have something to say about that. His missus won't. Don't live with him. Lord Ali, that is. So I was thinking today, I was quite a good speller when I was at school. And all the way up I knew that I was just quite pleased about being able to spell appropriately and proportionately. And today I was looking at, if you type Labour into Word, that, Microsoft came up with, they don't know how to spell Labour. And I thought, no, the bloody wonder our poor kids don't know how to spell and are now using text speak. I know Wiki videos. So they're using words that, well, the bloody Americans can't... Hang on. Lord Ali is a chutney farmer. Young Alex used to say that. Paulie Galtieri. He would know. Yeah, it is Yankee shite. So no wonder our kids. So the kids are being told by the elders of the community. Tucker 69 says, I've heard that Lord Ali has fecked off from Labour. Well, he would do, wouldn't he? Because when it all comes out, there's going to be civil unrest on the streets of this country. Don't you understand that? Why do you think I keep nudging on Wednesday? I told you on Wednesday. Bit odd. MP for Southport standing up at the House of Parliament, saying thanks very much for all the money being injected into my town. Wonder why that is. Well, you can't work it out for yourself. I hear Nuts and Bolts has said, I hear many people say that Starmer is on the autism spectrum. Well, if you think about it, they'll say we're all on the spectrum at some point, in some way, shape or form. I've got ADHD. What happened to ADHA and ADHB and ADHC? Des Perkins. Welcome, Des. Microsoft didn't create Word. It was stolen from Kingsoft, a Chinese tech company. So Bill stole the source code. No, the bloody wonder they don't know how to spell. I mean, there's other stuff that it's like they're replacing an S with a Z. I spelt something the other day, and I thought, hang on a second, they're talking out of their arse. Holly Rushton, a Marmite miner, an uphill gardener, a fudge nudger, a chutney ferret, a brown hatter. Surely not. Rear gunner. I bet you've not heard that one. Used that all the time on Century 106. I think it was Darren Fletcher and Larry Lloyd, the footballer. They were in the car coming down to Century 106, and I called somebody a rear gunner. And Darren Fletcher nearly crashed the car. The pair of them were laughing their caps off. Yes, Terry. We're not. Look, stop making me do naughty things. You're wrong. So the Americans, A, can't spell, B, can't speak, C, are trying to make us spell the same way as them. We're not having that, man. In the words of the great Chinese philosopher, and it was Chinese source code that started it all off. I mean, they can foxtrot Oscar. But let me tell you this. The Donald is pissed off. The Donald's Department of Justice is backing Alex Jones and InfoWars. Have you seen that fight that's going on? And the Dutch, brilliant, Chris. A receiver of swollen goods. That's very good. Ask Sakia. And, or Diddy. Or Justin Bieber, or Jay-Z, even Stephen Rear Gunner. Yeah, nuts and bolts. Microsoft got rid of a better word processor called WordPerfect. Oh, I remember that. I mean, I've been on the internet since the early 90s. So, bloody hell, I've been on the internet over 30 years. Jesus. Stuart, my spelling is good. My math skills, not so much. Stuart, you should play darts. Honestly, from growing up, from like 7 or 8 year old, I used to play darts all the time, every day, every opportunity I got. And my mental arithmetic is not bad. 1 and 1, 3. Andrew James, remember when Microsoft programmed viruses in the PC, so you had to buy more software to remove them? Yep. Yeah. I remember the year 2000 when we were going to get the everybody's computers were knackered. So all of the IT departments around the world were like, smash in. What was it called? I played darts, but Den Hegarty punched me. Brilliant wiki videos. Brilliant. Very quick. Most people won't know who Den Hegarty was. He sang bass for the group Darts. The boy from New York City. How's that? Wiki videos. Y2K. Thank you, Alan. So Y2K, at the turn of the century, we were all going to die. All our computers were going to blow up. And then everybody sat up till midnight, obviously, because it was New Year. And we got there, and the millennium bug, nothing happened. All the IT departments that were on massive overtime and were being paid shit tons of money to sort it out when it went wrong were like, oh, sorry, lads. Brilliant. Thank you, Wiki Videos. Now, let's get into it, because we need to kind of get into stuff. So, dearly beloved, we are gathered here to enjoy camaraderie, Battenberg, and a little schnifter called altar wine. But welcome to the legendary Battenbergers. Thank you to Stuart for your continued support, Stuart. Always appreciated. But I think I need to have my own sins absolved. Simply because it's not becoming a man in a frock. I mean, the fact, there is an irony that you've come up with all these new phrases and you're watching a man seemingly in a frock. I don't wear stockings and suspenders underneath. That's fine. The choir boys they trust me, but I think I do have to absolve myself of my own sins before I start my sermon this evening. And I do hope the good God, you know, the bloke with a big beard, who's that? Hayden, you're late. You're wrong. Evening, Rev. Evening, Hayden. You know, the one with wings and a white robe and grey hair and beard playing a harp. You know, that one. Do you know, if you look in art, right, you see this, you're probably thinking that's your last girlfriend. I really shouldn't have said that. But can you see this? If you see this in art, it stands for Jesus Christ. What do you mean? Well, J, C. When you see that, it stands for, in art, doesn't matter how long ago you want to go, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 years, that in art means Jesus Christ. Holly Ruston, what can I say? You're corrupting me. But I do have to absolve myself of my own sins this week. Well, can I ask you a question? It's an honest question, and it's heartfelt, and I do need you to put me on the straight and narrow. But do you ever look at some people and think, why are you such a caring, understanding 90s type? Isn't it such a shame that you have to think it, not say it? Loads of them going round nowadays. Me lovely organs, Pennine Counties. I know the feeling. Hang on, Andy Turner says 2. Nigel Green says 4. What we're voting for now? All this time, when I look at David Lammy, I'm with you, Terry. I am with you. Every bloody day, all the time. Yeah. I mean, even today, got into a bit of an altercation with someone who shall remain nameless, and I just think, why use such a caring, understanding 90s time? No, I'm saying that simply because that's maybe a word too far for certain people. You can say fuck, but you can't say that. So that's why I use a different anagram. Hang on, what's that? Lammy sending millions to Sudan. Is he really? How much is he making out of that? So you know the way that these politicians work, and they wash money, don't you? Yeah, they give money as aid. That aid comes back to us as them buying arms and armaments related stuff from British companies. How much do the British companies spend on British politicians? Whether it be holidays. Hang on, Andy Turner. No, I don't have a filter. I know, Andy. Mr. David, we don't need white saviour Lammy. That, in my view, inept, talentless prat needs to read the book White Cargo. Reparations, my hairy arse. Reparations. Go for it, David, man. Because, do you know, Mr. Lammy, MP, they've only got one term. I mean, I still don't think that Labour, not to kind of be politically centric this evening, because I'm not going to be. There's some really nice light stuff, and there's some observations on life, but I just need to get into the caring, understanding 90s types. They're all virtue signalling. Who said that? Lottie Martin. I agree. What was I going to say? So this is how it works. So a politician goes, oh, we need to help so-and-so and so-and-so. Let's give them money. Well, it's not the government's money. Remember the last time you look at a pay slip and you went, holy Jesus, how much are they taking off me? Well, that's what they're sending, you see. And then what they do is that country goes, right, lads, thanks for the billions. What we'll do is we'll buy arms and armaments from the military-industrial complex. Who said that? Is that retro? Oh, somebody said, sorry, I'm late. Oh, Chris Mundy. Typical. Welcome to the body of the cook, Chris. And so what they do, the English companies, they kind of give them loads of money. So they're washing. Do SPADs occur with virtue signalling? Is that not special advisors? Yeah, they're all at it. They're all nose, trough, money. And I wonder if any of the MPs in the House of Commons and or Lords accept free holidays, accept new conservatories, accept work on their homes, accept anything that somebody else pays for. The bloody Prime Minister does. Oh, hang on a second. The bloody front bench do. Oh, it's clothes and it's holidays. Let's go to Ibiza and let's go to Arsenal and let's do this and let's do that. It's all corrupt. So David Lammy going, lads, Sudan, yeah, me, David, yeah. I'm from England, me. I wonder how many free holidays he's got from Sudan. Virtue signalling prats. I can't even say it, Lottie. I mean, how bad am I? Remember when charity shops had the community running it for free? That's how virtue should be, freely given, not all self-grandiose. I know, and all these people that work for all these celebs, I've mentioned this before, all these celebs that go, oh, I've donated to charity. Shut the up. Because in the 80s, I had I loved the athlete, Steve Ovett. I thought he was brilliant. And the reason why I thought he was brilliant, he did an absolute ton of charity work in the background. Didn't bring it to the public, didn't bring it to the press, didn't want anything other than giving his time and his energy for free. There were other athletes, every time they farted, they got it in the mainstream press or legacy press. My favourite virtue signalling act is when straight people have their pronouns in brackets next to their email signature. Oh, Chris, I couldn't agree more. I mean, there was a time when somebody says, oh, Adrian, what are your pronouns? I said, if you want to put your hand down the front of my pants, you'll find them. But your pronouns, Adrian. I said, signalling? How do we end shite, man? And all these people going, oh, I'm this and that and the other. I saw Sam Smith on the One Show, and it was it was something like, say, fire person or fireman or firewoman, and he was going, fire them. And I thought, that's what Alan Sugar does, fire them. Yeah, DFS, Sam Smith, DFS sale. Is the DFS sale still going on? And I just thought, it's madness. That's why Donald Trump got back in as president, because he's going to squash all that. And do you know something? I was going to say this a little bit later on, but all that's going to happen is when Trump is in charge. Oh, that was it. Thank you, Chris. Fisher them, not fishermen. And the first time I thought, did he not say fishermen? What did he just say? I'll never suck on a fisherman's friend, although, I think it might be one of Sam Smith's favourite pastimes. My pronouns are, according to Des Ashton, I don't give a shit. I agree, Des. It's brilliant. So he was sitting there going, fisher them. And he said it a couple of times. And I didn't quite get it. And then I thought, he's saying fisher them? What is that boy on? Is he doing gear? Lottie, pronouns should be freely given. It's not a personal sex compulsory questionnaire. I know, Lottie, I know. But there's all these people that are in like the emergency services. They're the worst. Honestly, they're the worst. Whether it's the NHS, they, them, it, cousin it, film star. When they say they and when referring to someone, I'm like, who? What? Even Stephen. I agree. This is not meant to be an echo chamber tonight, but it's like living in a parallel universe. It's like the kids now. The kids are like talking this, and there's like 50,000 sexes. And I know this is being covered quite extensively by others, and YouTube for that matter. But I just think, am I getting old now? Am I, because we were all, the Beatles and the Stones, they were talking about cats and they were talking about man, and they were all cool. And then you got in at the 70s and the 80s, and we all tried to be cool. But now, Gen Z and Gen A, they have a whole new language. And not even they know what they're talking about. Chris Mundy, my pronoun, fuck 'em. Did I say that out loud? So let me make you laugh before we get into some of the serious stuff. I'm going to make you laugh. According to the Daily Mail, and I swear on my life that this is true. This is fact. Yeah, have you seen this? Hang on. There you go. Let the cat out of the bag. I swear this is true. I swear on my life. May God strike me down. Wow, Fred, I completely agree. Fred says Fred Barker, I must be getting old. I believe now that Mary Whitehouse may have been misjudged. Oh, can you imagine? In the field, I got frustrated when people say speak to something instead of saying talk about. Yeah. And Stuart says, my mum and dad's godkids are Irish, but they all talk with American accents. Have you also noticed how the Israelis talk with American accents? Is that all the American money going in there? How does that work? Shouldn't they be talking Hebrew? Aramaic? So I'm telling you, this is the truth. Doctors, and somebody commented how cold it is at the moment, doctors have warned of a rise of a bizarre winter penis, which causes shrinkage by up to 50%. I mean, this is, I know that people take the mickey out of the Daily Mail, but how the bejesus are you saying that doctors are now warning of a rise of a bizarre winter penis, which causes shrinkage by up to 50%? Have they never walked out in the snow? Have they never walked out in the cold? It's a natural phenomenon. Alexa, what's shrinkflation?
In economics, shrinkflation, also known as package downsizing, weight out, and price pack architecture, is the process of items shrinking in size or quantity while the prices remain the same.
I'm a bit worried about the package. Alexa, volume 4. So I thought, no, honestly, are they doing this on purpose? And I had to think, and there was a time when I was working in Nottingham, and I used to train every day at Nottingham's David Lloyd's. Now, if you've ever been to a David Lloyd's gym, they have a pool, an indoor pool, and just off this indoor pool, kind of like a showering area, and there's the male changing rooms, and then there's the female changing rooms. And if you're not careful, so I'm standing in the changing room, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll have a shave before I go into work. It's like, I don't know, 9:30 in the morning. I'm not on air till 1, so I'll smart myself up, and I'll have a bit of a brilliant Ray. I'm not saying it's shrinking, but I now sit down for a wee. Terry Wookford says, indoor pool, you puff, North Sea is good for swimming. Oh, I get that, Terry. Yeah, I know, but this was David Lloyd's, you know. You have to have a certain decorum around the gym. In fact, it was so posh, it was called James. So I go to the gym, I decide to have a bit of a shave, smart myself up before I go into work, and there's nobody else in the changing room except me. So as we men tend to, and you've seen Mike Tyson in his changing room before the fight, you just walk about stark bollock naked. You snort, you know, you just do, don't you? So I'm kind of standing there in you know, what God gave me, and to my right, I hear a door go. I don't think anything of it, because that's the way back into the changing rooms. So I'm and the silence. Now, normally you hear either flip-flops or padding around or movement or opening of locker doors. But there was silence, and I thought, what the bloody hell's that? And it was an old girl, like a woman, like a grandma. She'd evidently walked in through the wrong door and was standing there eyeballing me, naked as the day I was born. And I turned round to kind of, well, just in shock more than anything. Yeah, she was behind me. And I turned round, razor in hand, and she looked at me, and then looked down at me, and then looked back at me, and stared me straight in the eyes. And I thought, what do I say? And I just said to her, it's cold, innit? And she scarpered back through where she came from. And I was thinking, oh no. Yeah, I should have used high karate. That's evidently what pulled her in through the door. And I was like, oh, what do I do? If she, I mean, hang on. It's the bloke's changing room. What was she doing in here? So I thought, yeah, I should have shown him my Battenberg. It was just the straight face, look me in the eye, look down, look back up straight in the eye, didn't say a word, and all I could think of saying was, it's cold in here. Traumatised for months. But funny as. Lottie saying the woman checking out the men's changing rooms. I know, muggy tart. I did think, well, do I kind of give her the benefit of the doubt? Well, she's a little deranged, or she's had too much Battenberg, or it wouldn't have been the altar wine at 9:30 in the morning. But she was brazen, mucky tart, brazen, and got an eyeful. I can't use that gag. I can't. Don't, Adrian. I absolutely would have been thrown off YouTube for that one. Did she look like... How did you know? Alan says, did she look like Mrs. Doubtfire? Absolutely bloody double. I mean, I don't get the models. I don't get the good-looking ones. I get Mrs. Doubtfire coming through the door going, it's cold in here. No, I can't, Stuart. No, I can't. I could have poked her eye out with it, though. Oh, did I say that out loud? How very dare you, Adrian. Let's go back to something a bit a bit more solid. Oh, hello, matron. Hello, dear. Let's go to something a bit more substantial. Honestly, I could keep going with these all night. Where was her dog? So I want to be serious now, you wrong-uns. I was going to ask you a question. What time we got? I was going to ask you a question. But here's the thing. So you know all this, 2024. I did say to you last year that 24 was going to be 23 on steroids. Alan, I haven't laughed all flipping week till now. You've been speaking to Mrs. Doubtfire that came in the changing rooms. That's what she said. And as we get through 2024, there have been lots of points where... I think it was a year ago, the online safety bill was given royal assent. And if it's given royal assent, then it just goes into law. But they pulled the online safety bill. Peggy Sue, pretty Peggy Sue. Exactly that. And they pulled the online safety bill. And at the time I was thinking, why were they doing that? And I will suggest this. Let's see if it comes to fruition. As I say, I'm not bloody psychic before you start. They've pulled the online safety bill because they need to put more in. They need to make it more rigorous. And so that people... We already have certain laws, libel laws, slander is spoken, libel is written. So if you're speaking it on YouTube, it's slander. And we already have laws, although they are civil more than criminal. And they want everything to be criminal. So let me predict something that's coming. The online safety bill. Now, you know you're not going to be able to breathe, don't you? Breathe. Let alone speak. But let's just speculate. Let's see if we're anywhere near. When do you think the online safety bill will be produced? Maybe just before an appearance in Liverpool Crown Court. Because they want social media gone. That's what I was saying about Elon Musk earlier. Jack Dorsey, Mr. Blue Sky. Sounds like an ELO song. So you've got... Hang on. Nicholas says, Newcastle is so brilliant, standing in urinals having a pee, and the Black Garter with Ophelia balls hitching his frock up. Brilliant. So I think what's coming is that and remember, Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand says, we will be your source of truth. Orwellian. Canada, Trudeau, you can't get to anything unless we say so. Paraphrase. He's gone, by the way. I'll make another prediction. Justin Trudeau, he's got another 2 years, but he's gone. Finished. Done. No more. This parrot is deceased. So I reckon what's going to happen in this country, when they don't want you to know more about stuff, and it wouldn't surprise me if they use the intrusion into Catherine, Princess of Wales' private life. Shouldn't have used bloody AI, should they? Or finding out all the politicians are on the take from Lord Ali. Well, they shouldn't have had their grubby mitts on money or freebies, should they? And now that we know there's certain things going on with Keir Starmer that we can't mention, and they won't want us to mention, because it'll be the death of the Labour Party. I am telling you, it's this big, that big. Signs of his family, not even that. That pales. The Labour Party's done. It's finished. If it gets one term, if it gets to the end of this term in a general election, oi, 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 they're a better magician than Paul Daniels. They're not. But if we start speaking out of turn with information that they don't want getting out into the public, this online safety bill is their get out of jail card. They will stop us. I mean, if you look at France, there's certain social media platforms that you can't get in France. And Macron's come out today, not out, just out, saying, yeah, Vladimir Putin's going to bomb everybody. No, he's not. He said he's willing to talk peace, as has Sniffy Zelensky today. Oh, yeah, the end of the war's coming. But Macron's like, no, we're going to get bombed. So how much is he making out of the military-industrial complex? Wait for the online safety bill. I'm telling you. That's coming to stop us talking about what he doesn't want us to talk about. Roy Gordon's in the house. Evening, Roy. Good evening, Adrian. I haven't been to the Kirk for a while because of health and life and stuff. Like a breath of fresh air. You've cheered me up and I've missed you all. Hope everybody's well. Roy, good to have you in the body of the Kirk, sir. Welcome back. Make sure you can get at least one cheek on the pews, because knowing what these lard arses are like, they like to take up a fair amount. And they may, I doubt it, but there might just be a little Battenberg and a snifter of the altar wine waiting for you. So let's get into, because I think a change is going to come. Look, this country is being controlled from Davos. It's being controlled from Brussels and Davos and anybody else outside of this sceptred isle that hasn't been elected to actually do what they should be doing. But they need a new bogeyman. I'm not talking bogeyman. I'm talking about putting the willies up you. Oh, there we go. Back to Lord Ali again. But they need a new bogeyman. So who's it going to be? Because you know that you and I are now the news. Yeah, the West puppets. You know that you and I are the news. It's me and you. I mean, I'm surprised all the paps are not outside your house knocking on the front door going, how are you, man? Terry Woodford says, depends on the VPN. Some will not cooperate with UK courts if it's a free speech issue. That's why I believe what they're going to do is they're going to point the finger. Look, who would have thought in 2024 that people would be put in jail for making comments on Facebook? Who would have thought? Who would have thought that turning up just to go and eyeball what's going on in your town or your streets and you get sent down? And yet, there's all these demonstrations in London. And none of them get arrested. I mean, I saw something the other day, and God forbid, Met Police. So they're policing a demonstration, and somebody, not of that demonstration, goose steps and gives an inappropriate salute. And the guy at this demonstration, I mean, it was obviously people from the Jewish community that were there, and the Met Police just let this guy goose step past them and didn't do anything about it. And this idiot that walked past them, they said to the policeman, "You're not going to do something about that. That's criminal." And they didn't do anything about, he's gone. He's gone. It's on camera. It's criminal. It's a hate crime. Oh, talking of which, Alison Pearson. This is why I'm asking you about who they're going to make a bogeyman. Because a week ago on Remembrance Sunday, the journalist Alison Pearson, some plod, Essex Police, turned up at the front door. Hello, Alison. We're here to have a word. Okay, what's the word about? Well, it's a non-reportable hate crime. What the bloody hell? What do you mean? Well, it's about a tweet that you posted a year ago. Okay. Which tweet was that? Can't tell you. But hang on a second. You're labelling non-reportable hate crime at my door. You're here on Remembrance Sunday and you're telling me I've broken the law. Yeah. Well, give me a bit more insight then. What was it about? Can't tell you. So it kicked off big time in the media, in the printed media. Hang on a second, Alison Pearson. Some people might not agree with her opinions, but she's one of the nicest people I've ever met. Quote. And, well, I've worked with her for years, and she's not like that at all. Quote. And then did you notice the story died by about Wednesday and or Thursday? And some people have commented about it today in the Sundays. Looking like a Guardian stitch-up, they got the wrong Alison Pearson. Tom, you nailed it. You nailed it. It was the Guardian newspaper that were running bots, and seemingly they were the ones behind it. Ooh. Who's dropped what? Essex Police, of course they have. It wasn't even her. It was a different Alison Pearson. So the plod got it wrong. Not a first there, eh? Let's go back to the miners' strike. Loads of them, shit tons of plod, made loads of money in the miners' strike. Yes, Lottie, wow. So it was a bot. It was a Guardian bot. So all I'm going to say to you is this. It wasn't real. It was the Guardian what did it. And then other people in legacy media repeated the libel. She should be suing the shit out of all of them. Imagine. And there were people quoting this article from The Guardian and talking about it and talking about Alison Pearson. And then, look, if you're talking about a libel or slander, as I say, slander's spoken, libel is written. If you repeat it, you're as liable as the first person. So I'm watching this very carefully because there are going to be some media organisations that are shitting themselves. And I don't say that lightly. It's not on X. They didn't repeat the libel. It was The Guardian. Now, let me give you some insight into The Guardian, because I used to work for them. Not the newspaper, the Guardian Media Group. Remember John Myers? John Myers. Somewhere right of Attila the Hun. And he used to, the stuff he used to say about The Guardian. This is between me and him and or in public. Hated The Guardian. Hated The Guardian with a passion. And then The Guardian is actually a trust. And they did have hundreds of millions of pounds invested in that trust. And that's where all of their media came from. Stuart, yeah, John's the man that says, anybody got any Scooby Snaps? Team, you got any Scooby Snacks? That's John, died of a heart attack on a golf course. Long gone now, sadly. And there are people, and I will say this privately, not publicly, that there are some people who said they were friends with John, and they weren't. Give us a Scooby snack, man. Have you got any? Adrian, where you go with you? I haven't got anything. Do you want me to go and get you something, John? No. Just, if you got some Scooby snacks. He was a character, certainly. So the legacy media have gubbed up big time. Big time. And if Alison's as sharp as I think she is, she should make them pay for that. All of them. You can't just, because you think you're invincible, you can't just broadcast or print shit about someone that is blatantly untrue. And then they post on Twitter, oh, yeah, where was your researchers? And that's why the story's died this week. Morgan in the morning. Hello, me darlings. You will get a crime number, then a NFA if you report theft to the police. I know, Andrew. No further action. I mean, shoplifting was bad enough. But I will guarantee you this, and I'm weaving a thread tonight. And I hope that you kind of get the bits and pieces that I'm telling you and manage to marry it all together. Donald Trump is changing the world. And I told you, now this has got nothing to do with politics. Nothing whatsoever. It's not got to do anything, as I said at the beginning of this live, it's got nothing to do with left or right or up or down or in or out. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with the colour of your politics. It's got nothing to do with politics whatsoever. We were within a hair's breadth of getting somebody that would have pushed the nuclear button if it suited her or if it suited her paymasters. And of course it did, because the military industrial complex want a perpetual war, because then they make money. We would have had nuclear war, and it would have been in Europe, wouldn't have been in Russia, wouldn't have been in America, it wouldn't have been where the oil is, because they want the oil. They don't care about we Europeans, because we're the wrong bloody colour for a kickoff. They want us gone, finished. And we would have had somebody that would have pressed the button on behalf of her paymasters. Nuclear camel toe. Correct, Alan. And I said to you, save the Donald, save the world. Can you remember, was the TV series called Heroes? Save the cheerleader, save the world. And I just thought, if he gets in, then we may have respite of 4 years. Let's just park that there for a second from the chair. Julie Hartley Brewer from Talk had a bag stolen, shown the police her phone tracker, and they still haven't arrested the bloke, even though she tracked her own phone. And you know, if you go round to the address where your phone is, the police will tell you not to go in. They will tell you. They don't care. There's gangs roaming London who are thieving mobile phones on an industrial scale. And that arsehole, the mayor of London, Saddest Carnage, he's now come out and he's got his tongue so far up Donald Trump's arse. They're all at it. Because Mike Graham also had his iPhone nicked from his hand. Thank you, Tracy. I mean, look, if I'm walking around, I'm not on my mobile phone. Personal safety. I don't stand anywhere unless my back is to a wall and I've got 180 sight of what's going on, 180 degree. Because they're using these electric scooters and bikes and they're gone in an instant. And you can't rely on CCTV. You think that CCTV is everywhere. It don't fucking work. If you want an example of this, I hope I can keep track of this. David Blunkett. He's blind. So seemingly, he falls in between a tube train and the platform. And I thought, hang on a second, all the tube stations are covered by CCTV. Let's have a look at the CCTV then. And all the tube trains are covered by CCTV. They've got CCTV within them. And then I thought, is this just a ruse of some kind? But no, we went to A&E and had to deal with leg injuries. But I will tell you this, that they're not printing in any of the legacy media. What they're not telling you is that if anyone is disabled, they can go to the staff of a tube station and ask for assistance. 1, where was his bloody dog? 2, why didn't he ask for assistance? They would have taken him down in the lift and taken him onto the platform and then have put him on the train safely. But Blunkett's like, oh, I fell between the train and the platform. And also, have you noticed the raised bumps on the end of the platform? It's to help the disabled understand that the end of the platform's coming up. It was Westminster Tube. It's like a non-story. Either he's gubbed up or he's had too much altar wine. And why didn't he ask for assistance? Terry Wookford said he had his dog with him. Get a new bloody dog because that dog's shite. Wow, did you see that? I'm talking about the politicians and it starts to lag. Am I saying? So where was I before that? Sensory paving. That's what it's called, Holly. Yeah, absolutely. It's there to protect people with disabilities. Especially the blind. I mean, how many times? And as a former minister, doesn't he get tactile flooring? Doesn't he get? It's a non-story. But as I said right at the very beginning of this live, they're distracting you. They're using every which way to distract you. Terry, he was drunk. Well, there you go. I mean, we weren't there, but I'm telling you this. Get the bloody CCTV, because every platform on London Underground is covered by... Holly, you're wrong. Is covered by CCTV. But it's in the press today, as if like something really bad's happened. Of course it is. He's got injuries, bless him. And I wish him well and a speedy recovery. Hang on, Andy Turner's saying, I hear they're looking at Oxford Street, a no-car zone that will be a crime hotspot, as the police will not be allowed cars to chase. You know why that is, don't you? Slowly but surely, 15-minute cities. It's going to take them a while. So that's what I was going to say. The Donald, I said, save the Donald, save the world. And what's happening, he's been watching for 4 years. And the left, if you wish, have been injecting the poison. Lawfare, assassination attempts. We don't know who was behind. Well, one guy, and he can't speak because the dead can't speak. So you've got the Donald watching everything that they're doing, watching Camel Toe, watching Poopy Pants. And interesting that he met up with the Donald on Wednesday. It was a bit more lively on Wednesday. How did he get that lively? Sorry, I must have a cold coming on. He's the liveliest I've seen that man in a long time. He must have a bung up his arse or something. Stop him from filling his pants. So, oh yeah, that's a very good point. Fill you in. Sure, Blunkett wasn't unloving himself. Defo, no marching powder involved. But as far as I'm concerned, the Donald is watching. Now, he's a businessman. He's not a politician. So he's kind of aligned to a political party. But I will guarantee you this. What he's doing now is about his legacy. he's going right in hard and making sure that all of the people on his team, well, hey, they were all at the UFC on Saturday night watching John Jones beat Stipe, is it Miocic? They were all there, so you know that they're red-blooded. And he's getting people in that don't take prisoners. Because he knows he's only got 4 years, 4 and a bit years. He's going in hard. Back to David Lloyd's. So in essence, the Donald knows what he's doing. He's going in hard. And these clowns in Westminster, they're sitting there like on Wednesday at PMQs. I can't wait for next week. Nobody's ever going to mention that town in the northwest of England that we're not allowed to mention now. Garth. It's where the posh Scousers go to retire. Mind you, that and the Wirral. Blunkett was a crap politician. He turned a blind eye on everything Blair did. Very good, fill you in. I mean, we could make a history channel here because we could talk about like years gone by and what happened in those years gone by. I mean, I'm not sure which year you would want to start at. 2000? 1995? 2003? Don't know. I mean, what could we focus on in those particular years? I think we can find something. And so another question I kind of want to ask you, and you can respond in the comments if you wish, is how has the far right just conveniently appeared? Can you work that out? Because I can. It's no such bloody thing. I've told you. You put the dots together. I've asked you who's going to be the new bogeyman. We know who the new bogeyman is. They're making all this shit up. They're lying. I've told you before. How can you tell when a politician's lying? Their lips move. How can you tell when Sir Keir Starmer's lying? You can look and see his lips move. That man couldn't lie straight in bed. Oh, hang on a second. Gag coming. That's joke before you start. Don't think he's a gimp. But then again, it's Westminster. We know. Rent boys being spanked by table tennis bats. Who was the Stephen? The guy that killed himself with auto-asphyxiation and had a satsuma in his mouth. Oh, Hayden, you've given me that's wonderful. Release the sausages. This is the man. It's where the book stops, right? He's the decision maker. And number 10, invite Hindus for Diwali. And they offer them alcohol. I mean, that's bad enough. But they put pork sausages on the bloody menu for them. Were they doing this on purpose? Whiff waff. Stephen Milligan? Not sure. Might have been. But I think he was definitely the MP that killed himself, strangulation, with a satsuma in his mouth. So do I still think Catherine's dead? Not sure. Snorkers, yummy. Who in number 10 thought, hang on, we've got this party coming in. It's Diwali. Shall we get them some pigs in blankets? Should I nip down to Tesco's and get some sausages? And, what do they like? Peach schnapps. Oh, that was it. Thank you, Terry. Milligan's death, must have been Stephen Milligan's death, was one of the scandals which contributed to the collapse of John Major's Back to Basics policy initiative, which was seen as emphasising social conservative values and sticking an orange in your gob and trying to kill yourself while you're knocking one out. Oops. Several YouTube channels in the last hour reporting that Starmer's government on the edge of collapse. They all know. Everybody in Westminster knows. Everybody. Everybody. So, but number 10, I mean, I don't know whether they're setting him up or they want him gone before Christmas or they want him gone before the online safety bill. But I told you, and I wish I'd had a penny to a pound of a bet on if he was going to go. Partygate again, yeah. Can I give you a sausage? No, Adrian. Holly, you're going to get me into trouble. Oh, it's funny as fuck, though. So if there's... as I say, right at the very beginning, I said... at the beginning of this particular sermon, I said to you 2 years ago when we started this, this channel was about integrity, honesty, and trust. I had fingers pointed, I had accusations made, and I just said to you that I need to earn your trust. This is before Ursula von der Leyen in January. She must have been watching the bloody channel. Hello, Ursula, how you doing, you tart? Wrong. I said to you I had to earn your trust, and I hope now that you trust me, because I've said certain things and done certain things and given you Starmer's Rwanda Gate. The old Bovril, you bet your sweet bippy. And isn't there an irony that Sir Keir Starmer's government stopped the Rwanda deal that the Tories had set up? Why do you think that is? So several YouTube channels is not a great source. I understand it, and I understand why they're saying it, because it's all about clicks and likes. But I'll refer you to the online safety bill that I've just told you they are going to squeeze everybody. And I've also said that some of these YouTubers that I've seen don't know what sub judice is. They don't. The rule of law and rule of process should be adhered to, which is why I've had to dance around certain things tonight. Now, maybe I've got an advantage. I don't think that I have, but you can't just blurt it out in the hope that you'll go viral and make some money. It's dangerous. And that's why Starmer and his Marxist government are going to squeeze. They're going to squeeze it really tight so you can't even pass a comment. And looks like Funky Preppers channel has been banned. Oops! Why is that then? Lottie Martin. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I'll quote Lottie for you. It's true. Not everything understands the rules. Not everybody understands the rules. It's like they're being set up. Correct. It's almost as if the bait's being put there and you might go viral. You might make some money. And then they'll use them to say the online safety bill needs to be more stringent. Errant YouTubers or social media commentators need to be closed down. And that way, if it's really bad, that way, whether it's the royals or whether it's the politicians or whether it's somebody else, and people on social media are just at it, it means that they'll close or attempt to close Twitter down, or Telegram, or Blue Sky, or YouTube commentators. That's what they're going to try and do. Holly Rushton says, does sub judice apply in the Manchester airport incident? If no charges have been laid, it can't be understood a judge. It can't. I can report that those gentlemen involved in the Manchester airport incident were released on police bail. Now, we have to wait for the police, because the police's job is very simple. They are merely the evidence gatherers. That is their job, their sole job. Do it in lots of different ways, but policing, it's gathering evidence. So what was the first thing that the police did? Oh, we'll go after the cops that were there. Well, one of them got a broken nose. How can you go after a cop that's been injured in the line of duty? they were going to go after the cops. But the whole of the country turned around and went, woo, hang on a second. Let me tell you something. If I was a criminal and wanted to get past the stringent lines in the sand, shall we say, Nigel, thank you. The case is with the CPS, Adrian. The police passed on the papers a while ago. Still doesn't mean that it means that no one has been charged, so it's not sub judice. I can talk about it. But for fear of them not getting a fair trial, because that's what sub judice is meant to they should have got the charges out because it's as clear as day. And the CPS can't knock it back. I mean, can you imagine? The CPS can't knock it back. It's there on video. So that's what I was saying. So imagine I was a recreational gear runner. And I was going to a country that is particularly known. I'm not suggesting this is this case at all. I'm just free thinking off the top of my head. If I was going to a country which is full of a particular gear, and I brought it back, how would I bring it back? I wouldn't bring it back in my suitcase. That poor woman the other day that brought all that, was it Coke that she brought back? Oh, honestly, I didn't. I was just asked to bring it back. Just asked to bring this case back. Hadaway and shite, man. We all know what the deal is. Somebody gives you a suitcase and goes, will you take that back to Britain for me? No. Can I have a look in the suitcase? Oh, I can't find my key. But just take it to take it to this person and they'll open it with a sledgehammer or something. I bet they will. But if I was a wrong-un, a ne'er-do-well, and I wanted to smuggle anything into this country, do you know how I would do it? Wouldn't put it in a suitcase. I'd wrap it around a Muslim grandmother under her clothing. And they were trying to stop the police from searching her. It's a free pass. Sorry, hypothetically. It's a free pass. You get somebody who can't be searched coming back into the country. They can't be searched. For religious reasons. Hang on a second. This is Great Britain. Imagine if you brought back too many fags from abroad. They'd have you there and then. Whose are these for? Is it personal use? I mean, can you remember the boat that was off Hartlepool out into international waters? It was out in Hartlepool. You could go and buy your grog and your fags and buy as much as you wanted. And somehow somebody let slip that, oh yeah, there's this boat off Hartlepool where you can go and buy all your stuff. Malia, I agree with you. But it's a very simple way of bringing stuff back into the country. Now, not every airport will have sniffer dogs on duty. Where did I go recently? Turkey? Yeah, it might have been Turkey. They had sniffer dogs going all round the luggage. Like every time a plane landed, a sniffer dog was in there on the belt, having a sniff. And I thought, do you know, I'm zero tolerance around recreational gear. Zero tolerance. Never done it, never will. Not interested. Never even smoked a single cigarette in my life. And I'm quite proud of that. But I love a slurp, but I don't bring alcohol back into the country. And I thought, some poor bugger is going to get nailed here. Because this dog was loving it. Well, chucking a tennis ball. Lauren Taylor, exactly. How often does it happen? We don't know, Lauren. That's the thing. But in this, well, sorry, I can't. If it's with a CPS, I won't talk about specifics in the case. But I'm telling you, hypothetically, if I was a criminal mastermind, how I would do it. Don't bring it in by boat or aeroplane. Bring it wrapped under somebody's clothing that can't be searched. Under religious law. That's brilliant in the field. So I said to you, why do they need a new bogeyman? And now I'm asking you, why has the far right appeared when it was non-existent? And I will again give you my example that it was all over the legacy media, newspapers and TV and radio. They were saying right-wing thugs in Middlesbrough and Hartlepool and Sunderland were kicking off. And I said to you, there's no such thing as right-wing in Middlesbrough, Hartlepool and Sunderland. They are as left-wing and rabidly left-wing as you can get. So unless the government sent agents provocateurs into those communities and tried to get them to kick off the left-wing Sunderland. I mean, I have been part of the Labour Party in Sunderland. I have had a father that was a Labour man, virtually man and boy. He was a Labour councillor. We've signed papers because MPs, if they want to be nominated to stand in that particular constituency, need five signatures. And I can't remember the female's name, but she became MP, an MP. There was 5 of us in the family. We signed her application form or a nomination form. I'm telling you, there's no such thing as right-wing in Sunderland. It's where I'm from. It's my city of birth. I'm telling you, there's no right-wing. They don't kick off. There's not enough of them. There might be 1 or 2. And Hartlepool. They hang bloody monkeys in Hartlepool. They don't kick off. And Middlesbrough, even more left-wing than Sunderland. There's the old Conservative. There's a little bit of right-wing in there, as there is anywhere. But I'm telling you, they were reporting that there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds on the streets of Middlesbrough, Hartlepool and Sunderland. And I'm telling you, they weren't right-wing. So I ask you again, and I state again, why has the far right appeared? Not exactly brown shirts, are they? When none existed. Why would they do that? And I'm going to ask you this. Do you think they're going to insert the Lib Dems as the ruling power in 4 years? Labour's done. It's finished. They used Sir Keir Starmer to get Labour into power because they're anti-Semites. I stood in York in front of a Labour Party march and they were saying, Donald Trump's a racist. And I stood there on my own in front of all of them and I said, you can fuck off. The racists are standing here. You're anti-fucking Semites. And then the bobbies came over and said, sir, why don't you just get yourself away home? I said, no, they're calling Donald Trump a racist when that lot are more racist than Donald Trump. Honestly, you wind me up, poof, off I go. I was going to take them all on. Alan says, that's a very good point. Harold Wilson will be considered far right now by Starmer. I know. Well, it depends. It depends who Starmer is told to say they're far right. So Klaus and the lads in WEF, he gets his orders. Now it's becoming blatantly clear that the Chinese Communist Party, the Marxist Party in China, are trying to run the world. They want it under their rules. They want control because they do the Chinese. They want the control. And Donald's come out and gone, no. One day, in essence, January 21st. Stuart says, you remind me of when I get pissed off. Me too, Stuart. Honestly, don't wind me up. Because, look, they had the placards out. And they were going, Donald Trump's a racist. Kettle coal in the frying pan, grimy ass. Don't be silly. You're more fucking racist than he is. Anti-Semite. Now, anti-Semite is racism. Enoch Powell, founder of the far right. I know they quote Enoch Powell a lot, Tucker 69. But the world was revolving in a different way. The world was being pushed towards, and remember, China has a lot of, the majority of America's debt. So if China calls in the debt, remember it's about between 36 and 37 trillion dollars. It's bigger than their GDP, their gross domestic product. America cannot trade its way out of the debt that it's got. They can't, because the politicians, that's how it works, man. The system is this. It's the politicians. They don't want you to know this. What they do is they give the money away to foreigners, and the foreigners give the money back, some of it, not all of it, like Sniffy Zelensky. Do you know how much America has given Sniffy Zelensky, and BlackRock for that matter, Ray? Do you know how much they've given Sniffy Zelensky in Ukraine in 2 years since the war with Russia started? $183 billion. Now, these are taxpayers' money. $183 billion. That's how much. And you could say 2 years, yeah, just over 2 years. $183 billion. And you've got the Americans being squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. But the politicians, like Nancy Pelosi, how the fuck does Nancy Pelosi make 100 million fortune when she's on 180 odd grand a year? I want to know which share she's running. I wish I was a penny behind her. Well, not sure I want to be behind her. Bit like President Poopy Pants. She's that old. But you look at this, and we're all awakening. We're all becoming more and more awake. But importantly, Stuart says, I like the sweary Mary Adrian. Stop it, you'll get me into trouble. Could you imagine telling kids that BBC Yes Minister is true? I know, but that's how you get round it, Nicholas. You make out, you either write a book and say it's fiction, or you write a drama or a comedy and say it's fiction, because then people go, oh, no, that would never happen in a month of Sundays. Yes, it will. And you have, do you know that Ronald Reagan used the slogan, Make America Great Again? So even the Donald, he's not picking anything new. Lottie, 1984 script, that's a perfect example. Thank you, Lottie. We know 1984, and people quote it often. I've read it, I've listened to the audiobook, and I listened to it more than read it. Alan Bastard, yes, Prime Minister. Everyone's a millionaire in Ukraine. Millionaire? Ask Sniffy Zelensky's wife how many Bugatti she's got. Did you notice how quickly Bugatti came out and went, no. She's, no, we're not selling her any cars. What, 6 million Bugatti? The missus of the president of Ukraine. Sniffy, where's the money going? 183 billion. 183 billion of taxpayers' money in America. Jesus, their sphericals are being twisted. You're twisting my melon, man. It's all been laundered off. That's why they did it. So I'm going to ask you the question again so that you don't forget it. We've got money laundering on an epic scale. There's never going to be this transference of wealth. Oh, by the way, I've got 2 words for you. Michelle Mone. 200 odd million of British taxpayers' money. And where is she? She's fucking about in a yacht in the Med. Where's the 29 million that we want for a kickoff? Yeah, there was something in the newspaper today about how those that are not sitting in the House of Lords, they're not going to be pushed for the money. Right, yeah, the USA biolabs in Ukraine, they're all being shut down. Have you noticed that? So that's why we needed Trump in there. He's literally not, I'm not going to use the hackneyed phrase, drain the swamp. But he's after them. Yeah, the yacht she bought with taxpayers' cash, you mean? Well, it was taxpayers' cash that went to her husband's company who bought the yacht. But whose name was it in, actually? Was it in his name or her name or the kids' names? No, the wonder she's not coming back to the country. She'll be arrested when she sets foot on the foreshore, which is owned by the royals, by the way. So in 4 years' time, when all of this, so save the Donald, save the world, we've got the Marxist government in power. Several YouTubers are reporting that the Labour Party is near collapse. But all the way, I've kept you up to speed. But I've kept you up to speed ahead of time. So all these YouTubers that are coming out, it's because they've seen it somewhere else. Oh, I'll get clicks and likes for that. Fuck off. I have shit more intelligent stuff than these idiots. They're just clicks and likes merchant. I don't give a fuck about this channel. I'd rather tell you the truth. Somebody asked me, how comes you've only got 7,500 subs? Because they're genuine subs. I don't buy my subs like some others. Scotty, 26,000 in 18 months. Demonetized. Why were you demonetized, Colin? 10 years on YouTube and you got 3,000 subs, and then 18 months later you've had another 20 odd. Why did they demonetize you, Colin? Oh, Stuart, have you not seen? Look, anybody that's got over 100,000 subs on YouTube should have a really nice silver plaque behind them, because you can tell by their willy waving and their egos that they want that silver plaque. And those that get it are those that can genuinely prove to YouTube that their subs are genuine. But you'll notice some of the usual suspects who've got 125,000, 137,000. They've not got the silver plaque behind them. Why is that then? I'll let you work that. Let you work it out. And the reason why I set this channel up was for truth, integrity, and honesty. I told you that at the beginning of this live. Andy, I think, well, YouTube's undergoing a change, and it's all about the shorts. So unless you're doing, it's under 3 minutes now. If you're doing your videos under 3 minutes, then you'll go onto the shorts list. And that's where they want because they're worried about TikTok. TikTok was going to be cancelled by the Americans in January, and now that the left are not getting into power, then TikTok's going to still stay. TikTok is a huge driver of information for the Americans, certainly. And they wanted to close it down. Telegram, they wanted to close it down. I think the French already have. I mean, I was going to use tonight's live to do a little audience research. Alan, thank you very much. I know it's first, but as I say, the legendary Battenbergers always get primacy at the front of every the following live. So on Wednesday, I'll say thank you to everyone that's donated tonight. But I was going to use you for a bit of audience research, but I think it's gone on a completely different tangent. Wow, Rich, my daughter is a TikTok editor. Amazing. It's the voice of the people needs to be heard. And there are very few online creators that have any integrity, because they are ruined by the money. They're thinking that they're all going to be Mr. Beast. They're all going to make millions and then retire to the Bahamas. I would rather have integrity. Yes, Holly, Vox Pop, voice of the people. Can't do shorts or TikTok. My attention span is way too healthy for that rubbish. Thank you in the field. I would rather tell you the truth. And then 20 years down the line, as happens regularly when old listeners get in touch with me and go, blimey, what you said 20 years ago on Real Radio in South Wales, it's just coming true now. There was a time where, what was he called? Rhodri Morgan, the kind of Prime Minister, the First Minister of Wales. Greed's a hell of a drug. I know. But I know my audience on a Sunday and a Wednesday for these lives. I know you support the channel in any way that you can. For example, integrity. I was gonna make a whole load of these. I was going to get them done, but I was being quoted £5 a mug, and then I was being quoted £5 for postage, and then I thought everybody else is making money. Can I make any money? Probably a couple of quid. I wasn't going to ask you to buy something that was going to cost you an arm and a leg. Thank you, Amalia, or by hitting the likes whilst you're watching. So I'd rather it be about integrity and honesty, because there are a lot of channels on YouTube that are not. Exactly that. People still pay for their TV license. Go figure. Look, I couldn't get. So when I moved in with the new Mrs. Allen, I had, so the BBC got me to pay my TV license up ahead. So when the license was due, I'd already paid for that year coming. And then when I left, I got in touch with them and said, can you repay my license? You've got 150 odd quid of my money. Can I have it back, please? Well, you'll have to jump through some hoops. And then you go and try and reclaim it. At the time, you have to give them this kind of proof and that kind of proof. You have to prove that you're no longer at the address that you were at, and you're going to be at the address, and you're on the council tax thingy. You're named on the electoral register. I didn't get my money back. Thieving bastard BBCs got it. I mean, I'm sure it's time to barred. So, why do they need a new bogeyman? Always remember that. Steve Conlon, keep up. Thank you, Stephen. Chiselers, Vixtex, I know. The 100 license demand letters are working as a fantastic draft excluded this evening. I'm chuffed. Just in the field. You're to wrong. I'm not on the electoral register or have a TV license. Who's that? Paulie, be careful, because if you're not on the electoral register, they can do all kinds of stuff in the background, and they'll stop you. Thank you, Stephen. They'll stop you from doing stuff. So I want you to remember these questions, and I'll repeat them over the next few weeks. Why do they need a new bogeyman? Just remember that. Why has the far right appeared when none existed? We're not exactly Mosley wearing brown shirts, are we? And will they try and insert the Lib Dems into power in 4 years? Remember, the Tories have finished. Although Kemi Badenoch, she's a week as leader of the Tories. And in one poll that's been published today, they've got 29%. Labour's got 27%. But more importantly, Reform, 19%. They're not far away. I'm telling you, the local elections, the established political classes are going to get it stuck right up them. P. Diddy party again. A political freak off. So keep your eye on, will they try and insert, because remember, it's another bloody Sir that's at the head of the Lib Dems. What about the post office and the post office staff that Sir Ed Davey didn't deal with? Can you imagine him? So the Lib Dems might merge with either Labour or Conservative to make a big winning party. Can you imagine? Reform. They're not going to need it, because the whole country is sick and tired of being shafted. And if Reform doesn't do, and I think what they will do is what Donald Trump is doing now to this country. And do you know something? Politics is not difficult. It's really simple. Serve the people of the country and do the best for the people of that country. How challenging is that? It's not, because politics is now corrupt. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Nicholas says, you have to get a phone in sorted. You will put the cat amongst the pigeons, and I would love to be the first caller. Nicholas, bonny lad. Look, we've also looked into doing phone-ins, and we put a pause on it for a specific reason, which, we've tried, said the moderator. We genuinely, we have tried. We've looked at lots of different options. We've looked at lots of different hardware. We have looked at everything in every which way. But we've paused it for a specific reason. And look, if I am to maintain my integrity, my honesty, and my truth, I will tell you what that is in good time. But if you think about politics, Donald Trump is looking at it and making it common sense. It's not making it, I need to do a deal, I need to do a deal, I need to do a deal. He's basically saying, Big Pharma, hey, RFK, mate, come on, we're going to be in power from January 20th. Can you deal with Big Pharma? Now, Big Pharma is a $1.5 trillion business. Do you think that they want anybody querying that? Check your Collins Dictionary. We spent weeks researching, hang on, let me say this. We spent weeks researching calls to providers. Cost aside, it was going to cost thousands to do it properly. Also, the Rev ain't tech savvy. You can say that again. But we did. We've looked at every which way, whether it was the hardware, whether it was the software, how we were going to. Because remember, I have professionally done phone-ins, and I don't want it like some people will do them on Skype. What the actual golf? That's funny, Alan. I thought Big Pharma was Jeremy Clarkson. Very funny. We have looked at everything. And it's not to say that it's off the table, but just for the moment, we're putting a hold on it. I would like to do it, but I will promise you this. When I do a phone-in, everything is programming material. In fact, the kind of phone-in that I enjoy, there's the combative, the jousting arena, the combative calls where people would want to come on and argue with me. Yeah, loved it. Fred Barnes said you could have prearranged calls with selected viewers. I've thought about that also, Fred. But what would happen, and I had a conversation with the new Mrs. Allen today, because she's skilled in lots of different areas. No gags before you start, because it'll end up in divorce, my divorce. She has lots and lots of experience and skills. Why not try live stream and invited chatters? I have thought about that, but let me tell you about what I was talking about this afternoon. I was talking about because the jousting arena, the arguing. I love having a joust. And Phil says you can have StreamYard. What was it? Yeah, StreamYard panels. So we've already thought of StreamYard. And the reason why we haven't gone down StreamYard is if you look at the screen, you will see a watermark that says Theatre of the Mind. And if you get StreamYard, you get a watermark in the corner saying StreamYard. And I don't want, and StreamYard's too costly. We've looked at the costing of StreamYard, and we've gone from the blue sky thinking of, right, what we've got Adrian on his phone, and we've got the live streams on a Sunday and a Wednesday. So how can we do that and kind of give them an extra bit of zhuzh? So we are thinking about it at the moment. We're trying to make it work. I have a Rodecaster Pro that is sitting on my desk here, and Ernst Goldfinger says, are you liable for phone comments? There is a thing called live defense. If I don't see the comments, then I can review them afterwards. As the moderator says, I think Stuart's asked, he says, his started with Skype. He then moved to StreamYard. His setup cost £9,000. And where did the money come from? So everything that I input into the channel, if I get any donations from these lives, and to everyone that supports the channel, thank you. It all gets pumped back into this, all of it. I don't make a penny from this. That's not my goal. But so the conversation I had was around, although I love the arguing and I love the politics, I would like to do human interest. And I would like, as I have done with all of my phone-ins around the country and nationally with LBC, I want to get people's stories on here. And I have contacted a lot of people, but because I'm not kind of within my contact email to these people, I say, look, this is my background. This is what I've done. These are the radio stations I've worked for. But unless you have 1 million subs, or you have a huge amount of subs, 500,000 subs, 250,000 subs, they don't want to know, because they're looking at it and going, so how many subs have you got? I could go out tomorrow and buy 1 million subs. It's that easy. But YouTube would just demonetize me. So I want integrity, honesty, and truth to be bywords for this channel, so that you know when I broadcast this and I tell you this, you know that I've done my research, you know that I have a modicum of knowledge around the law and what we can and can't broadcast. And more often than not, it's to protect you, because you're not to know. That's not your area of expertise. It's not necessarily mine, but I know enough to get me and you by. So the comments, if I don't see them and I don't comment, then I can look afterwards, and I have something called live defense. So if I see a comment, well, let's just move on from that. So because the way that the phone-ins used to work, you call in, you want to talk about something that's important to you. So I would take the call to where? At the moment on YouTube, if I said to you, oh, we're going to talk about, I don't know, politics and the Prime Minister or Donald Trump in America, you probably have some modicum of an opinion. And a bit like Tyson's fight last night, which I'm going to get to in a moment. You watched it, as many did around the globe, and you would have an opinion. So you would call in and go, yeah, it was okay, he's a legend, don't mind. No, I'm never going to watch a Jake Paul fight again. So you've got opinions, but as I said in my very first video here, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. But it's that drives a phone in. And I have, as I was saying, when I contact people that I've interviewed before, I've interviewed them on radio stations, on LBC, on the BBC, and I contact them. They say to me, oh, so which channel is this? And I tell them the channel. They look at 7,500 subs. There's one that I was bitterly disappointed by. In fact, two that I was bitterly, well, more than that. I was bitterly disappointed, because I said to them, although it's a young channel, it's growing, I would give you one of the best interview experiences you've ever had. Because a lot of people are scared. And a lot of people, they don't want to be subject to someone that's inexperienced. They don't want to subject themselves to any kind of trauma. So they just say no. And that's fine. That is fine. And there'll be one day where I contact them again and say, oh, remember me? I'd love to have you on my show. And if it was a recognized media brand, all they'll say yes. I won't point them towards them ghosting me. So I've seen a subject today that I was going to bring to this live tonight, but what was I going to say? So there's something in the papers today, and I'm going to contact someone tomorrow. Andrew Bridgen agreed to come onto the show, but then the general election happened. So it's, if they can recognize who you are, then there's lots of skills in doing interviews, lots of skills. A lot of people don't have them, which is why a lot of YouTubers, would love to have Steve Allen on live with you. Me too, but I think his NDA would stop it. So basically what I'm saying to you is, I'm working there's lots of stuff going on in the background, and we are trying and working out a way of creating a phone in for you. We were going to do it for the general election, and it's cost prohibitive for me at the moment. And I will continue doing these lives. And if there's any way of getting an interview on, can't do it in these lives. But what I can do is I can put a premiere up of an interview that I've pre-recorded and then talk on a live afterwards. So the pre-record could go out at 8 o'clock. The premiere could go out at 8 o'clock with someone. Yeah, I'm aware of Paul Thorpe. It'd be interesting, Andrew. That would be very interesting. Get Vordenaux in 3D. She's not going to come anywhere near me. She knows me. She's not going to come anywhere near me. Because they're all, I'm an unknown quantity. And I want to do it professionally. I want to do it so you go away from any phone-in I do or any interview that I do. You either learn something or you're entertained by something. And that's why my late night phone-ins around the country was number one in every market that I worked in, because it wasn't about just arguing for arguing's sake. It was about telling your story. It was human interest stories. So there's lots of people contacted me, and they've wanted me to sort things out for them. I've been in contact with June. I'd love to have June on the channel. If we can make that happen, if she agrees at some point, then I would love to. It's all about the stories. And the challenge is that, as a lot of YouTubers find out, Katie wouldn't touch me with a barge pole. Katie knows exactly who I am. I would love her to. I'd love to talk to her. Because I'm a cuddly teddy bear. And politically, I wouldn't stop her free speech. Absolutely, categorically not. But I am worried about Katie, because she's really pushing stuff. And Katie's sharp. Katie's intelligent. But I don't know whether she's self-sabotaging, but she's pushing and pushing and pushing. And she's upsetting very powerful people. But I hope that the powers in the shadows leave her alone. Neil Oliver. I could try with Neil. Thank you, Des. But he's been taken off GB News. He does his own thing online, on here, but it's not aligned with GB News. So it's all... I've got 40 years of experience doing live, doing pre-recorded, doing interviews, doing live radio shows. This is doing 2 hours. I've done over 2 hours tonight, but 2 hours on a YouTube live. Easy. Literally. I did Talk 107's breakfast show in Edinburgh, Saturday and Sunday mornings. Had little or no content. So I used to do 3 hours on air. Newspapers, used to chat, 3 hours. And I can do it. But my concern is there has to be a value in what I do for you. There has to be an entertainment value in what I do for you. And there has to be an information value in what I do, which is why I go and do my research about how much Americans have spunked on Ukraine, or have made back. Stuart says, if I was to do live streaming, you'd be the person I'd go to for advice on it. That's because I've made loads of mistakes. But if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn anything. What about WhatsApp? Says Scott. Ooh, thank you, Scott. Standard for doing radio interviews nowadays. Just route it through whatever stream deck you have. Well, I've got a Rodecaster Pro 2. I know that Rodecaster have come out with another deck. But I will have a look at it. We will have a look at it. Stuart says, yeah, you said it a long time ago. The best learning is from a mistake. The moderator says I would need a video capture card. You see, it's all like people that are infinitely more skilled, infinitely more experienced in this, like Scott and the moderator, you know, when the moderator goes, you need a video capture card. What's that? I mean, it's bad enough having a phone. Oh, sorry. Yes, Alan. Thank you. I'll get to that in a second. So basically, there are things happening in the background. I am trying to evolve things. But if you have a story to tell, I think what I'll do on all the lives, I'll stick an email there. Look, I'm cuddly. I'm not going to do anything that's either going to embarrass you or is going to make you look silly or is not in integrity. So integrity, honesty, and all the things that I've talked about from the very beginning of this channel. Trust, integrity, and honesty. What's the point of having someone come on and feel uncomfortable and we could pre-record it? Because I would love to tell your stories. And this story that's come out in the press today, I'm going to see if I can get them on. And, you know, if I get a reply and say, not for now, Adrian, brilliant. Thank you very much. And I'll tell you about it. And I'll tell you the story behind the person that I'm contacting. But I would love to, because also what it does, it keeps me engaged. I love doing things that make people think, emote, and are engaged on multiple levels. Human interest stories, because that human interest is human. And not, you know, the hectoring and the arguing and the nastiness of shouting and getting angry. I mean, have you noticed how many people on YouTube try to do rants? Try to do rants. Get your sphericals out, you arseholes. So let's go to, we'll round off with your take and my take, because I watched the whole bloody card of the Mike Tyson Netflix thing. And I did think about getting up at, like, I don't know, I thought it was going to start at 4 o'clock. I thought, I'll get up for the fight. And I told you that I thought that Tyson was going to absolutely pummel this boy. I think it might be Nigel. I'm not quite sure what he meant of. Des Ashton says, let's have more ranty Rolex, please. Oh, you're wrong. All right, I'll do that for you. Don't mind. Ranting is easy. That's why people do it. But actually, if you go to one of my rants on here, and I only put the one up there because I was doing them regularly on my radio shows, you will see that it's quite lively. Didn't watch the fight, but I've been told by friends that it was shite. Stuart, nailed. I'm gonna tell you why it was shite. So I'm going to look at the aftermath. And I was awake all night. Left the bedroom, got up, went downstairs, watching some bits and pieces, doing some work, and then trying to keep myself awake. So 1 o'clock, the fight card started. Oh, yo, they had a draw. I can't remember the fighters' names, but holy Jesus, man. I've seen better on a Saturday night in Sunderland. Hang on. The time delay and the dump button, as we call them in radio. Moderator says, Nikki, that was a profanity delay. To buy one of those, it's now $4,000. Whoa, Nikki, if you want to buy it for us, thanks very much. So I was down watching from 1 o'clock, and the first fight, I thought, A, Netflix have never done this before. B, you could tell Netflix had never done this before. C, you could tell Netflix was shite at this. So they had, Lennox Lewis was, you won't see this anywhere unless you were watching it live. Early doors, Lennox Lewis was there and was interviewing Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield was sitting right next to Lennox. And Evander Holyfield couldn't hear what the interviewer was asking him. So Lennox Lewis had to ask Evander Holyfield the questions. But what Lennox Lewis did was he couldn't, I don't know whether he'd been on the live now, but he couldn't hear what the interviewer was asking. So he started asking Lennox Lewis started asking Evander Holyfield his own questions, and that was more entertaining than the bloody Tyson fight. Oh, what about taking a bite out of your ear? Who was the idiot interviewing in the ring? Oh, that was Hawali. I don't know. He's an MMA boy. Anyway, he's upset a lot of the MMA fighters. So I think Netflix were just looking for a safe pair of hands. Is it Hawali? They were looking for a safe pair of hands. The main commentator was a former WWE guy that's gone across. Now, obviously, there's going to be... Netflix spent a lot of money on this, and they want to do live sports. The two girlies were more entertaining. With you, Alan, I understand what you're saying. And they want to get into live sports. So on Christmas Day, I think it is, they've got 2 American football games. Can you imagine McGregor for Paul next? Can you? No, that's no. Paul will end up in hospital, badly damaged. Badly damaged. So I'm going to tell you, it's kind of a gag, but it's really clever, and it has a much deeper meaning. So there's 2 bulls on the crest of a hill, Daddy Bull and Son Bull. So Son and Daddy Bull were sitting top of a hill, and the Son Bull turns around to Daddy Bull and says, Dad, you see, God, look at that. There's a field full of cows down there. Why don't we run down and fuck one of those? And Daddy Bull says, Son, why don't we walk down and fuck them all? So Jake Paul paid Iron Mike $20 million to not hit him and have a 1-0 Mike Tyson win on his card. So his heritage, 11 fights, 10 wins, 1 loss, beat Mike Tyson. So the only way that this would happen is because Netflix stumped up a shitload of money, at least $50 million. I'm going to ask you a question. Would you watch a rematch? 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Would you watch a rematch? Well, I'll tell you this. Mike Tyson, 20 years ago, was taken out on his stool against Kevin McBride. Can you remember that? And I quote Mike Tyson, my heart's not in it anymore. He said that at the end of the fight. If you watch the fight, Tyson is biting his left glove. He's biting his left glove because in the contract, according to Carl Froch, was contracted to not knock Jake Paul out. There was a no knockout clause in the contract, and he would only get the 20 million if he didn't knock Jake Paul out. Jake Paul versus Tyson Fury, 200 million being bandied about. Bloody hell, moderator. That's never going to happen in a month of Sundays. 200 million. So he said after the fight, this is Jake Paul, I am the face of boxing now. It's corrupt. We've always known that boxing's corrupt. We know boxers that have taken dives. We know of boxers that have taken bribes. But this is, do they want it as entertainment or do they want it as boxing? Because MMA, Froch on Fighting called out Paul. Now I'd watch that. Oh, yeah. But do you, would Carl Froch sort of mouse him for a little while, for a couple of rounds, and then put him in hospital, badly damaged? Tyson was biting his glove. Now, from the ring walk, he came in some fancy Dan car that had been moderated to be Fancy Dan car. What was Logan Paul? That's exactly it, Alan. Net fix. Why was Logan Paul sitting next to his brother, Jake Paul? Because we know that WWE is more scripted than a ballet. But it's kind of entertainment, so we don't mind. And some winning and some losing. Stone Cold Steve Austin, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Yeah, all that. It's just entertainment. This is boxing. This is like two pugilists getting in a ring, taking a battering in the ring, and one of them goes home as winner. Yeah, little Johnny Owen from Wales. Boxers have died. And I thought exactly the same, Rich. What was he spraying around? It wasn't Diddy's baby oil, was it, by any chance? And from the ring walk, so Jake Paul comes in all entertainment, and then Tyson walks in, and the first thing I saw was Big Mike Obama already takes a regular battering in the ring. The first thing I thought was, why has he got a knee brace on? What's happened to his knee? He's going to be immobile once he gets in the ring. Sure enough, gets in the ring. It was Jake Paul that was dancing. Netflix's work, so it ticked all the boxes. I kind of get that. But from Mike Tyson's ring walk, not the obvious, his knee brace. Everybody knew it wasn't going to be what we wanted. And then you watch the fighters. Now, as I say, I've done a bit of boxing in my time, not kind of at any great level. I did interview and chat with Joe Calzaghe once in South Wales. Lovely guy. Lovely, 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 lovely guy. But the Mike Tyson movement, this wasn't the man that I'd watched in the pre-fight videos where he was smacking hell out of his trainer. 2-minute rounds, 14-ounce gloves. 14-ounce gloves so they couldn't batter the hell out of each other. I normally use 12-ounce. I thought they might have gone up to 16-ounce if they really wanted to make it marshmallow hands. But Tyson was robotic, stilted, could barely walk, could barely move. And I was thinking, this is not the guy that I watched in the training videos. This is absolutely not. But he couldn't get in. Tyson's got a 71-inch reach, and I think Jake Paul's got something like a 78, 79-inch reach. So he's got quite an advantage. Jake Paul's about 6'1", Tyson's 5'10". The punch stats were 97 punches in 8 rounds. The old bovril. My wife used a two-pound frying pan. Tyson was blowing out of his arse in the last few rounds. I know, but why? He never moved. He commandeered the middle of the ring. Good strategy. I know he's 58. But if he'd done the road work, look, I'm in my 60s and I'm running a half marathon next September. He's known since July. Before then, the original fight was slated for July. So he's known for the best part of 8 or 9 months. No, as Alan says, it's not Rumble in the Jungle, was it? So, no battering in the ring, but Jake Paul was on his bike. Obviously, he's making 30 million out of this. So he's going to. He doesn't want to get knocked out. He doesn't want to lose. But Tyson was told he couldn't knock him out. So he was never going to knock him out. And that's why Tyson was biting his glove, because his natural instinct was just get in. Get inside his jab. Get inside. So he would just muller the hell out of him. But Trump and the whole team were at UFC 309 on Saturday with John Jones. So they knew that it was just going to be Logan Paul had obviously, in my view, had a word with his brother Jake and said, look, WWE's all scripted. We know what we're going to do. Just script it. And also, as well as the 2-minute rounds and the 14-ounce gloves, Jake Paul had final say on who the scorers were going to be, the ringside judges. So he could decide. As in the field says, training for a 20-second video doesn't need cardio. Oh, I agree completely. Andrew Tate's come out, not out, he's just come out and said, right, I'll put 3 million down. Jake, you put 3 million down. Last man standing wins. Now he's a kickboxer, Andrew Tate. The minute that Jake Paul came up against a boxer, not Mike Tyson, was it Fury's brother? The minute he came up against a boxer, he lost. I think, and Jake Paul has said this, and I'm quoting, Jake Paul took his foot off the pedal. I quote, in respect for Tyson. I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt. This is boxing. Last man standing. Beat the shit out of them. You're the champ. In other words, the non-fight was rigged. It was scripted. It was rigged, in my view. I mean, they're talking about Lennox Lewis. Tyson was talking about Lennox Lewis after this fight. Lennox Lewis would laugh himself stupid. He would laugh so hard he'd burst his incontinence pants. Obviously, Lennox doesn't have that. It's a figure of speech. But Lennox Lewis, oh, he was a master of the art. He's a big old unit. Tyson should never, ever, ever fight again. He's burst. He's done. He's finished. Take your 20 million. That's enough to keep you going until the end of your life and look after your kids and look after your wife. 20 million should be enough. 14-ounce gloves, the sparring gloves, to lessen the blows. Jake Paul chose the judges, so they were always going to score in his favour. I wonder what the reason for the delay from July was. From what I heard, Tyson had a burst ulcer, happened on a plane, he lost consciousness, found himself in the toilets throwing up blood. Passed out on a flight to LA, woke up in the toilet throwing up blood. So it was fairly serious, could have killed him. So I watched the from the beginning of the card. So in essence, Mike Tyson's being given 20 million to train for 6 months. Are they setting up a return to make similar amounts? I mean, if we all think that it's rigged and it's scripted, some people still watch it just to watch a legend, an exhibition match. He did that with, was it Roy Jones Jr.? I agree with Alan. It was a payday fight. Fake news. Tyson tweeted today that when he had 8 blood transfusions. Bloody hell. So it was serious. So who was behind all this? I'd love to see the contract, and I'd love to see what they agreed. But Jake Paul still has a win on his legacy. So many fights, so many draws, wins, including a defeat of Mike Tyson. It's always all about the Benjamins. But that's why at the beginning of this live, I mentioned integrity and honesty and trust. If we thought it was going to be scripted, we wouldn't have watched. I wouldn't have watched. I would have stayed in bed and slept. And afterwards, I just thought, I've been cheated here. Yeah, they should have let Tyson fully recover after the ulcer. And in the field says, ain't that a sign of the times? It is, because we don't know who to trust. We don't. Integrity. Very few people have integrity nowadays. Honesty. There was absolutely none of that last night. I watched him get into the ring. And I thought, there's something off here. Stephen says, I've had friends stay up all night. What a waste, they said. I didn't. Snake Oil 2024. That's what it's all about, Nicholas. Everybody's at it. Whether it's YouTube creators or whether it's politicians or sportsmen, presenters of Match of the Day. I really hope that it was a good and fair fight, says Alan. I remember watching Frazier and Ali versus Bugner, Ali versus Foreman, all of those great heavyweights. Great heavyweight fights. Rumble in the Jungle, Thriller in Manila. They just trip off the tongue. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Mike's done. He's an old boy now. But by the time any fight comes around, he'll be 59. Just let it be now. We respect you as a legend that you are, one of the greatest heavyweights that's ever been. But please, don't. Just don't. And as far as everybody's concerned here, Alan says 73 people turned up to see two conmen. Tens of millions watched on Netflix. Tyson's versus a walking frame. Brilliant. Foreman made more from his grill. I know exactly that. I mean, some of these fighters, I mean, Tyson does talk about being ripped off by certain managers who shall remain nameless. They're gangsters. OCGs, gangsters. If you have somebody just pitch up and go, right, you might be all right with your fists, but I've got a pea shooter in my pocket. Happy to see you. But I'll ask you this question. It's not for answer, but if somebody came to you and said, 20 million, Adrian, if you take a fight, 8 2-minute rounds, 14-ounce gloves. I mean, I've sparred in 14-ounce gloves. My bloody arms ached. Would you take a £20 million payday? Not really fight, just dance about, make it look good? Is that right? Oh, Tyson has a business growing cannabis. He makes millions from it. Yeah, because in certain states it's legal. Did he need the money? Who knows? Is he going to fight again? Oh, I doubt it. Terry said, I'd do it for 2 million. Ah, you cheap tart. We love all your truths, honesty and rants, Rev. Thank you, Viv. Tyson let himself down. He was building a new career that showed him as a knowledgeable thinker. Not now, though. See, money does really weird things to people. I mean, Tyson Fury has said that all of his matches, all of his boxing matches were all about the money. Not about legacy or heritage, all about the money. Yeah, Lotley said something very interesting. It's interesting in the field, like a boxer or kickboxer, they're very good at 30, at 60 for teaching and sparring. It's rare to find a 28 and under teacher that is gentle enough to understand how to spar. With my ninjutsu, teaching the kids, the kids sometimes just wanted to go at it. That's all they wanted to do. No, Tyson. I don't think Tyson Fury was there. I might have been. I was more interested in the John Jones fight. His elbows are brutal, and his kicks, as we found out. But Pillsbury Dough Man. Some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. Trump, UFOs. There's a UFO inquiry that happened a couple of days. You know, James Stewart's back in the press. I might do this in the morning. Children in need. Raise 39 million quid. Where's that going to go? We need some transparency from the BBC. Where's 39 million going to go in charitable donations? Farmers. And what else was there? There was Davina McCall, who's very ill at the moment, and RFK, Justin Welby resigning. There was lots going on, but this is possibly the longest live that I've done so far. Thank you to everyone that smashed the likes tonight. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. Area 51, have they still got the UFO they captured? And I have asked a question about doing conspiracies, but now that there's been an inquiry on UFO and there are 21 instances that they literally have no answer for, I'm going to watch it and see what comes out. And maybe do a video of it in the next few days. Remember, I'm on X, formerly Twitter, and it's at Adrian Allen, my real name. And we'll be back Wednesday for sure at 8 o'clock. I'll keep an eye on what's going on in the world, see if I can give you some insight. But keep an eye on the Labour Party, because if it's about to implode, can you imagine? There'll be civil unrest on the streets. Be safe. Stay well. See you Wednesday, 8 o'clock.